these are the people who I want to appeal to. Make those little slips. It happens. You have to have a plan, ability to manage your problems effectively. How are you going to do it? Fall off the horse? Jump right back on.
And welcome back. And there you saw it, the official premiere of Marilyn Manson's new song, a great love song called
Beautiful.
Forever.
Beautiful.
And of course, you'll be able to find that on her page. We'll upload it as well, so you can be able to see it once again and learn all the lyrics and start singing it to your significant other. Of course, she did get married. I think
Yes,
part
she
of the video was actually from her wedding as well. So congratulations, Marilyn. All right, but it's time for us to shift gears now, and we are going to be having another session with Jenny Lovell. It's Bruk It Down with Jenny. Good morning.
Good morning, Jenny. You know, it's always nice to have you in, and I, being a part of these sessions actually helped me to become a better person, and I'm sure it does for the public who are actually watching. But for this morning, it's a very important topic, and
Serious
it's
topic.
very, very serious and important topic. Recognizing abuse in a relationship.
Yes.
It's something that one of the things that we try to do is actually push it out, or when we are told about it, we say, no, that's not it. So let's dive into it.
Well, I kind of want to say something about young people too. It's so important because a lot of teenagers are dating, and sometimes they tell people about some of the things that are happening in that dating relationship. And as adults, we blow it off. And it's very, very dangerous because, yes, it can start very young and it can start very early. So it's very important that everybody know the signs.
Yeah.
Now, granted, these are adults, and we can't force an adult to make any decisions. And when I talk about the teenagers, yes, we can report on teenagers and that they're in a situation.
Yeah.
But these are adults when generally in these relationships. And so the idea is to be able to recognize the signs and offer assistance, or at the very least tell their families or talk to somebody. And I really want to recommend that people like hairdressers know the signs, your nail person, because women do come into those places. The person, the abuser, may not allow her to leave the home. She can't go shopping, but she does get to go to the doctor. She does sometimes go to the hairdresser. So these folks, it's very important that you know the signs and symptoms.
That's such a great suggestion.
Definitely.
Yeah. And before we start, though, because I think one of the things when we think of gender-based violence is that we think of only like a woman with a black eye or a bruised face. And it kind of becomes the stereotypical image. When you see that, then it's domestic violence. And if you don't see it, then it's not. But there are different forms of abuse.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll tell you something else about the physical. The men, we've educated a lot of these males who perpetuate violence, and now they don't give the black eye anymore. They'll hit the woman in her stomach. He'll hit her in places where the bruises will not show.
Wow.
And so you also have to be aware if you see a woman sort of easing down and around, pay attention to those signs of pain that people normally should not be having. So all those kinds of things, very, very important.
And this is only physical abuse.
But then we have the verbal abuse, the insults, the name calling. There's also financial abuse. I've known perpetrators who they will not let that woman keep money because then that means she has some power. She can get out. She can leave. So they won't let her have money. They'll go shopping even for pads and things like that for the female. So it's, the financial abuse, the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, right? The psychological things, making her feel less than. There's a new thing that's not new, but it's now becoming more popular, the gaslighting.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big one that they use.
Can you define it? Yeah,
Yes.
define
Can you
it.
tell us?
With gaslighting, it's I'll make you feel like you're crazy. You're saying, I hit you, you make me hit you, you make me angry. Well, I can't make you angry. How do I do that? But he puts it at her in such a way that he shifts the blame, so that she then thinks that something's wrong with her because She can't believe that, okay, wow, did I do that? Did I really do that? Was I really responsible for that? And it's very subtle. And there are lots of people here in our country who are really adept at gaslighting. It came from a movie, where where they really this guy just turns things around in so adroitly, that the woman really thinks that there's something wrong with her, and in a lot of these relationships, they put the blame on the other person, on the victim. So it's very important that we are aware of all these things.
I don't want to jump the gun because I and especially for me, and like I say, because I'm a family man. I pride myself with this, and I want to be a better person. So I pay keen attention to whenever you say something. One of the things that we notice now, especially in today's day and age, that in a relationship, people are not going into it, and it might be one of them. Either he or she are not going into the relationship for love, but rather for help, and it comes out and portray to make it feel or make it look like it's love. Have you seen this, and what do you say to these things?
Oh, we'll go into that.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I said I don't want to jump the gun.
We'll go into that because.
What we are really talking about today is looking at the signs. The signs before it becomes that critical stage where your life, your psychological health, and even the well-being of your children become at risk. It's early, so you can be able to have some choices.
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm talking, and I'm not even really talking about the physical, because everybody knows about the physical.
And in fact, there are other signs before the physical.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's lots of signs before the physical.
Very interesting, Jenny. Let's get into it.
And I put a disclaimer.
Okay.
I put a disclaimer up here because every time I talk about stuff, when I go out there, people say, "Oh, how come you always only talk about women and I talk about women?" Just understand that I will be talking about women because the majority of these cases are the victim is a female, is a woman. Okay. Yes, I would say probably about 19 to 25% would be males. Yeah. But more than the preponderance of it, it's women who are the victims.
Yeah.
So
why do we do that though? Why do we automatically go that route? And it comes a lot from women. Oh, you're talking only about women, but what about the men?
We deflect
Is it like I feel that way.
We deflect it because I think we feel that if we're putting too much emphasis and we're putting too much light on the fact that we are being abused, it makes us less than. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It happens to the best of us. Because let's say this. A lot of times, based upon how you grew up and the family you grew up in, it's normal for you to be in a relationship with a man who is abusive. If your dad was abusive or your stepfather was abusive and you grew up watching this happen to your mother, happening to you, that's normal. And you are going to be attracted to that kind of thing because you know how to function in it.
So hearing these things goes against what you deem normal, and it's sometimes uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah. So it does apply. Everything we say will apply to men too.
It will apply to men, okay?
But you'll simply use a female example.
I'll be talking about women, but I'm also talking about the few men or the men who are abused, because they are.
19 to 25%.
Yeah. And there are some men out there. Yeah. And that doesn't make them wussies or anything like that.
I was going to say that.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
We have some very abusive women.
Yeah.
Okay? So, some early signs. Intense attention. When an abuser is coming for that woman and he sees prey, he will give her intense attention. He is going to bombard her with compliments, flowers, and just be really this person that she wants. And she thinks that this relationship is going to be so beautiful because of all this attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one here, I always think that's a bit concerning, right?
The putting you on a pedestal. Listen, the minute you see them putting you on there, run real quick and say, no, take me off. I'm human, I make mistakes.
I am not perfect.
That should also be an indicator for you that you want to pay attention, because we're not. We're all flawed, all of us. And so if someone's putting you on a pedestal, they're going to take you down at some point.
We jump there though. Compliments.
Oh man, you get loads of those. And the thing is, he's going to just load you up. Remember, it's called love bombing.
Yeah. It's not regularly saying somebody's beautiful, right?
No, this is all the time. He's constantly complimenting. It all goes away once he gets his claws into you, right? But up until then, until you fall for it, he bombards you with all these compliments, the intense, and I mean intense attention.
How do you distinguish, though, between regular courting, average courting, and love bombing? What would be the major, if you could give us an example, major differences?
It's over. It's more than what is normal.
Like you would feel uncomfortable.
Yes. You will start to wonder, okay, these are too many compliments.
Yeah.
This is just too much attention. If you in your guts, you know something is not right. We all do. We get that thing, where it's like, wait a minute, something's not right. Yeah. Listen to your guts. You're usually right. Okay, you're usually right.
But let me jump in from a male's perspective here. At times, it might come across as much as we're giving a lot of compliments. It might not be the mindset that you want to do something, but at the time, you're not able to control yourself at this particular point. Whereby I'm telling you, I love your hair, I love your lipstick. And then you sit back, you relax a little, and then I love your jacket, I love your chain.
Why you love too much?
You see? So these are so we're saying these are some of the signs as well.
Well, it's the overabundance. Yeah. The overabundance. Yeah. Okay, he loves you so much, he's going to walk you to work.
Yeah.
He's going to drive you to work, and he's going to pick you up from work, and he's going to call you 40 times while you're at work.
Just to hear your voice.
Just to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Okay? The red bells should be flying. Okay?
Or every compliment is like extreme superlatives, like the best woman, the most in all the world.
And you're the first woman I have met that's made me feel this way.
That's a That's a sign.
Okay. No, seriously.
And that's why it's a good question, because we don't want people to think that it's not about compliments. It's just that
compliments are important.
It's that where it's so overdone, you feel.
Yeah, it's so sugary sweet. It's like.
But some women love this. This is what they love.
No, but what we're saying is you can tell that there's a difference. There's a distinct difference between somebody who's giving me a compliment and somebody who's just too much. Like it feels uncomfortable.
Sugary.
Yeah.
It's sugary.
And it can happen the other way too. Yeah, that's what, or cameraman. I tell you, always goes it can happen the other way, that somebody shot. And that's what we're saying. Yeah. It's gender neutral.
Yeah.
But we're using a female example.
I'm saying, I can't go back and forth, so I...
Yeah, you want to stay in order.
I'm staying in the zone here. It makes you dependent on him. He brings you to work. He brings you lunch. He does everything for you. All of a sudden, I had a friend. She owned a bookstore, and she would go on these book tours, right, in the States. And then she met this guy, and he said, "I'll drive you," and he would pack up all her books for her. Pretty soon, he was doing everything, and he was starting to leave her at home. Right? He just sort of got in there, and he made her so dependent on him that he took over her life, and she didn't realize when it happened.
Wow.
And that can happen because you become so complacent with all this generosity and all this loving attention. It's like over the top. Yeah. Okay.
So just to be clear, compliments are still fine. It's the overdoing. We all know that. We all know when something is just too much for us.
Those are signs, because the signs are what we're talking about here. All right.
Some early signs. Over the monitoring. He monitors you. Why can't I have your password to your Facebook account? I want us to have openness. I really want to get your account, your email account. He comes, can I see your phone? And he goes through and he checks your phone, and it's real caring. Right? And he starts looking to see who you spoke to during the day, what numbers you have, whose pictures are in your phone. I think you should take that picture out because you're no longer
whose
seeing him.
Photos you like and comment on. Yeah. It's like real obsessive.
Yeah. He's monitoring every move you make. Ding, 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 ding.
That's a sign.
That's a real sign. Then he starts isolating you from your friends. Oh, I don't like her. She's really bossy. Or I don't like her. She's competing with you. And he finds fault with your friends. He finds fault with your family. He doesn't want you to go visit your family as much.
Yeah.
I want you to spend time with me. And then eventually what happens, he stops you from seeing your family altogether.
That's a definite sign of corralling. He's actually corralling you right here.
Yes.
But you see, it doesn't feel that way, because if somebody you're in love with says, you know, why are you going to leave me and go with your friends? I want you to stay home with me. Let's stay home and do X, Y, and Z. And you start doing it all the time.
Now. I'm your family. I want you to spend time with me. Okay. So he's isolating you from the people who would see that something is wrong. He's isolating you from the people who will be able to tell you something is wrong.
A quick question here. At this particular point, is it a strategic plan that he's got?
Yeah, he does. You don't know that though. The person being the victim doesn't know that. All they see are the stars in her eyes with all this attention and all these things.
You're so loved.
Yes. And then he starts with the shoulds. You know, you shouldn't hang with this one, or you shouldn't go there, you shouldn't. And there are all these shoulds, right? And the shoulds pretty much, again, are very judgmental kinds of things, but meant to isolate you, meant to keep you away from people.
Wow.
Meant to make you feel less than. He's the only person that has you up on this pedestal.
Yeah. You shouldn't hang out with coworkers.
Yeah.
You shouldn't spend time going to the gym. I heard that one before. Yeah.
Really?
Because other people are going to watch you.
Yeah.
You shouldn't go to work.
Eventually.
He wants you not to be working. He does not want you leaving the home.
Yeah.
Okay. So
what we see, and from what we're saying, are patterns of control. But it starts with a loving approach. It's like, I love you so much, I want to spend 24 hours with you. I love you so much, I don't like your interactions on Instagram or Snapchat. I love you so much, I don't want other people, watching you.
I'm giving you all that attention. I love you that much.
But what we don't realize is we're being controlled.
yes, you're being corralled. I like that word. You're
Yeah.
being corralled.
Right here.
Yeah.
All these limitations are being set.
And the thing is, he's doing this very purposefully and over time. And he's got you. You ever watch, have you ever seen snakes where they hypnotize you? It's like he's got her hypnotized.
Seen that in the Jungle Book.
But he's got her hypnotized pretty much. Okay. You want to say?
From the victim's perspective, and I think that's the key thing to look at. For somebody who perhaps doesn't have the self-esteem, self-confidence, or self-worth, this kind of love may be intoxicating for them. I may be, let's say I'm the one in the situation, I may be so amazed that somebody can love me so much with all these boundaries, which I may not be comfortable with, but it's because he loves me so much. How does somebody break that mental pattern?
It's
to
very
say,
hard to
oh, I don't know about somebody giving me rules. I'm an adult, beyond adult, I'm an individual. How do we break that spell?
Difficult, girl. And that's the thing. It's hypnotic.
Yeah.
Right? And it's hard to do. It takes a woman about 7 attempts to get out of that kind of relationship before she finally does. By then, the police are fed up with her. Everybody who works with her are all upset. And the thing is that what we have to know is that we need to persevere and stick with her. Yes, she left, she went back. That's number 1. Yes, she came out. We did all this work, but she went back. That's number 2. If we could just keep that in mind and just keep on working with her and keep on pointing out to her, babe, a hypnotic trance.
Yeah.
You're in a trance. This is not real. He's doing all this to get you in his power and hold you there. And if you're alive the next time, if you're alive, maybe you'll get out the next time and stay out. And we always point out if you're alive, because eventually all that controlling and all that need to hold on to her becomes very toxic. It becomes very, very toxic.
All right. Let's continue.
So, are you in an abusive relationship? Oh, some early signs. Permission. he wants you to ask him permission to do stuff. He demands that you ask his permission, right? Isn't that something? But after know all of this, he wants you to come and say, is it okay if I do this? Not, I'm going to go out with my friends tonight. No, do you mind if I go out with my friends tonight? Is it okay with you if I go out with my friends? Or is it okay with you if I have lunch with the girls? She's having to ask permission, and if she doesn't, he then turns on her. He withholds love. We'll get into all that, but he withholds love and he punishes her.
I have a question here. Because when you say, or when it's being discussed at this particular point, you know, for some people, they might say, I don't have to ask permission. But let's jump on his case. The case is this. If you tell him, say, babe, I'm going so-and-so, and he lets you everywhere, the perception is always that he didn't cheat. That's why he left you make you go. What do you say to this?
I've heard that.
And it's the reality.
No, but we tend to have a pattern of controlling relationships in.
Yeah, we do. We do.
But these are signs.
They're absolutely signs.
They're signs.
What signs if he says yes, or signs?
No, or actually with the entire discussion in terms of we're talking here science, but the thing is, it's the mindset. If you ask him, and that's because he's putting you in you need to ask a permission. But if you say, you know what, I'm just going, and he said, no problem, babe, you could go ahead. You need to treat.
Really? I don't think that. It's not everybody. I don't think that.
And I love that you say that too, because everything is of discussion, it's not with everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
But these things are what we're talking about in terms of science.
I think it's very important that I wanted to put these out because women who are in these relationships, hopefully something sparks and they go, wait a minute, I'm in this. This is happening to me, right? And if you're a woman in that situation, you seriously want to be looking at talking to somebody. Women's department, go over to women's department and talk to one of the ladies over there. Really important if you find yourself in this situation. The hot and cold.
I really am
The
just that.
hot and cold, he will, you know, if you're not doing what he expects or what he wants, he's going to just go cold. Ignore you, you know. And then if you're doing what he wants, he'll be all over you, all hot and sweet and wanting to cuddle you and all kinds of things. So the hot and cold is a control mechanism. This is one of the ways how he controls the woman.
I know you don't like going back and forth. I just have one thing with permission. Is it as obvious as saying, can I? Because I find sometimes people start to make decisions based on what they know will upset their partner. It's like, your friends want to go out. No, I can't, because I know. I know maybe my partner at home is going to blow a fuse if I come home to even ask or say, I want to go with my friends tonight. Is that still?
It's implied permission.
Okay.
It's implied.
Because people may not realize that they're not asking, but they may be turning down from the start to avoid fights at home.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Implied permission.
And that happens a lot. I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This hot and cold is an important one because that's withholding love. He withholds love if you're not doing what he wants. Okay? And he'll give you love if you're towing the line.
Let's merge this together. We had a conversation with Audrey Matura earlier this week with the legal ramifications, and she spoke of withholding love as grounds for a divorce, where sometimes they would even deprive their partner of sexual activity for extended periods or attention or conversation or many other things.
Yes.
Withholding love, and that's actually a part of what goes into a divorce case as well. So if it can work in court, it means it's wrong in your relationship too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That hot and cold, it's withholding love to punish you. I'm punishing you. You know, and we talked about the gaslighting, the manufacturing jealousy. You come home and tell you, you know, the girls at work really like the way I dress, or you know, so she gets jealous, right? He wants to get her jealous because that keeps her intact, that keeps her at home, that keeps her paying only attention to him. So he makes her get jealous by telling her about all these people that are interested in him. Manufacturing jealousy. Okay. The constant togetherness. He has to be with her 24/7. Eventually what he does, he wants her to not work. He wants to be the only one working so she never leaves the home. And he doesn't want her having her friends. So like earlier we talked about the fact that he isolates her. But it's just the constant togetherness. I mean, can you stand to be with somebody 24/7 all the time? Even
No.
you see, when we get into relationships or we get married, right? We come together to have a relationship together, but we don't stop being that person that we came into the relationship with.
Yeah.
We still have our friends, we still have our families, we still want to do things with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's healthy.
Yeah.
That is very healthy.
Yeah.
But this thing where a man wants you to only be with him, right? That constant togetherness. Ding, 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 ding. Pay attention to that. That's
Yeah.
a big one. Okay. Is there constant jealousy? He's jealous of his shadow. He is jealous of, every time you pick up the phone, he gets upset because who are you talking to? You know, you might be talking to work, you might just be checking Facebook, you might just be reading something on your phone. He does not even want you to have a telephone. It's constant jealousy about everything. Why are you wearing that dress? Who told you that color was good on you? Everything creates jealousy. Controlling. Everything that we've talked about so far is about controlling behavior. But it's even worse in the fact, you know, like he wants to control what you eat, how you comb your hair, or how you walk to school, who you spend time with at church, mind you. All right, really, really controlling. Does he have unrealistic expectations? Like, does he expect you to not go to work? Does he expect you to be home by work gets out at 5? He expects you to be home by 5 after 5. Otherwise, he has a meltdown.
Yeah.
Right? Unrealistic things that are impossible for you to do, but he wants to make sure he monitors every minute of your time. Okay. Does he blame you for his mistakes? That's sort of like gaslighting, right? See, look at what you made me do. You made me hit you. You made me angry. You can't make somebody angry. Anger is an internal thing, right? I can't make you angry. I can do things that you get angry about, but you're choosing to get angry. I don't make you angry, right? But he blames you for all of his mistakes. Again, tries to isolate you. Does he try to make you responsible for his feelings? Look at that. You made me feel sad. You know, the anger, whatever feelings, he wants to blame you for it. And the big one, his past women, did he batter them? Did he beat past girlfriends, past wives? Do they talk about the fact that they left because he beat them? Or he did things to them? Because he will generally be abusive to children and small animals, and definitely to past girlfriends.
But is this saying that people can change? Like a batterer a person who is abusive can't stop?
He can if he seriously and seeks help and does what he has to do in training, counseling, or in whatever his family therapy, whatever. If he seriously means to, he's got to first of all recognize that he has a problem and be willing to work on it. But most times they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
So are you in an abusive relationship? Does he blame you? Right? Are there rigid gender roles, right? Serve, obey, and stay at home. You're supposed to have breakfast on the table for me. You're supposed to wait on me hand and foot. That's why I put you in this beautiful home, this gilded prison.
You're supposed to take care of the kids.
Yes.
And always look nice.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
You don't need to work to do that, right?
Have access, no
You
access
have
to
no
money.
access to money. I know of a case or a couple cases where he would go out, he would shop for everything. She didn't go to the store. He brought home everything she needed. He did not give her money because access to money meant that anytime she could plan to leave. And he had it planned out where she couldn't even say get to Chetumal or get somewhere and fly out to get away from him.
Wow.
He had all the bases covered. I mean, you talk about extreme control. No access to communication. He works on getting away her telephone. There's no phone in the home, right? She's not in contact with her family, so she can't really talk to them. Right?
Really? If you
Yeah.
work out of the home, he smells you when you come
Oh
in.
yeah.
When you come
He
in.
would smell her private parts to see if she'd been doing anything. And if it was clean, if she smelled clean, she had a shower before she left somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
You said
I mean,
you've had cases like this
Oh,
before.
yeah.
Every time I hear it,
Yeah.
it sounds so amazing that
no.
people subject themselves to these things.
Yeah.
But can we go back to the communication part? Because sometimes we know people are allowed to have phones, but they are so carefully scrutinized all the time.
Yeah. So even like telling the woman, we would say some things like, you need to have your phone speed dialed for help.
Yeah.
Right? Have it speed dialed to the police, to somebody that's
Yeah.
going to get here to help you. Right? But he would be checking that phone. Why is this like this and why is that like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He really
Who's
puts
this number
her-
that called? Why'd you talk so long? Like,
Yeah.
it's not just because I think you can be comfortable and have access.
Yeah.
I'm sure, but it's almost like, when I hear people talk about having to report for every single phone call for the
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
and
goes
having
through
to
with her.
delete call
That's
logs,
extreme.
Yeah.
because they don't want to fight later on.
It's not extreme. This is perfectly normal for people who are batterers.
Yeah.
For them, it's not.
What is the
not.
source, if you can say? I mean, I don't know. What is the source of the need for control coming from the perpetrator's end? What is
Again,
happening with them?
Just like how we know girls who grew up in homes where they saw their mom being battered, those girls learn that they're supposed to be battered, and so they seek out relationships like this.
Like that, yeah.
And the boys growing up watching dad beat up on mom, instead of being highly protective, he'd be protective of mom. But the thing is, he has learned that women are supposed to be this way and women are supposed to do these things. And so he will do it in his relationship.
Wow.
He will do that. And he learned that as a child.
Yes.
Because his
Growing up
parents taught
watching
him
it.
what love looks like,
Yes.
or what he'll think love will
What it
look
looks
like.
like. Exactly.
Wow.
He
stalks you.
stalks you. They will call you. They will just like bombard your telephone, checking on you all day long. Right? He will come and sit out there. He's supposed to be working, but he will find a way to come and sit out there to make sure that you never leave work. He's allowed you to go to work and you can't leave to go anywhere. He follows you. And it's not just following, he checks everything that you do. I mean, because stalking isn't only the physical
Yeah.
walking behind you.
Yeah.
Stalking can be he follows you on Facebook, he follows you on your
And monitors every
Every
move.
Monitor every
yeah.
move.
No, we hear more and more about these of pictures or posts or comments or who you friend or who you follow.
Yeah.
And it really becomes a part of the control as well, that people use to stalk. And there's also the, if you do go out or if you do have a work function, they show up
Yes.
Yeah, they show
every
up to the-
single
Yes,
time.
Yes. And we'll
But-
break up things too. Come in there and they will go out and go get drunk to get that liquid courage sometimes, and they will come in there and break
try
up
to- try to
things.
make
Yes.
things- but-
Embarrass her so that people don't want to invite her to anything else.
But in terms of this stalking, would you say it? Of course, because we're discussing the signs of abuse. Would you say it's also insecurity, or it's just that he's abusive here?
Sometimes it's insecurity too. It is insecurity. He found somebody that he sees women as property. We're propiedad, right? And so he will hang on for dear life to keep her where she's supposed to be, because she's his.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that will kill you. Because if I can't have you, nobody else will have
Nobody
you.
can have you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That's what I always find weird, because abusers cheat. So if they love their property so much, and that's where I think sometimes women get caught up in this cycle, because especially women who are cheated upon, they're constantly trying to save what they have. I mean, I don't understand, but they still stay in it. So it's not like that person, the abuser, is constantly committed to you.
Yes, but he wants his property to be at home, where she's accessible whenever he wants her. and she can't have any. Yeah, it's okay for me to cheat. I'm the man in the home. I'm not your property, but you're mine. You know.
So there'll be some double standards along the way.
Oh, absolutely,
too. Yeah.
absolutely. I want to talk about Stockholm syndrome. Don't let me forget. Okay. So how can you help? If you see something, say something. Say something to the family. Talk to the girl herself. Point out to her, because a lot of times people are in it. You know, they say you can't see the forest for the trees. Sometimes when you're in it, you don't realize until you're getting hit.
Yeah, but Jenny, sometimes you talk to your friend or your family member and they just stop talking to you because
True, but
they
say
don't
something.
like hearing it.
Still say something. Say something.
One
Because
time,
at some point,
2 times,
at some
3
point,
times.
at some point, it'll sink in. At some point, it takes a while. Remember this whole thing. It's trauma bonding. Trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding.
Yes, that's the other words for Stockholm syndrome. You know, I told you all the story before. There was a bank in Stockholm that was invaded by these robbers, and the police, they were able to sound an alarm, and the police came, and so some people were killed. So everybody in there knows that their lives are on the line, right?
Yeah.
And so for days they're in the bank, and these guys are just threatening to these people and whatnot. But after a while, the people who were the hostages were worried about these guys, that the police would come in and kill them. So when the police did break in there, they stood in front of these guys to protect them from the police so that they wouldn't be shot. And when they all got out, they bonded together and they got money and got legal assistance for them. The same thing happened when Patty Hearst was kidnapped, right? She protected these people who had her as a hostage, and in fact started going out with them and shooting up banks and places, right?
Yeah, there's a psychological shift that takes place.
And the way the shift takes place, you're being traumatized, but you're bonding with the person who is traumatizing you. And so it's very difficult. I mean, they will put their lives on the line to protect these folks. That's what you call trauma bonding or Stockholm syndrome, right? And so this is why women don't leave right away, because they are so psychologically attached with this person who abuses them.
But I hear it all the time, and I really appreciate the explanation that you just gave, and you give an average of 7 times, maybe more, maybe less, that it takes for someone to leave. And I know from past work that some police officers are trained to understand that, especially in the family violence victim unit. But they also change as well. I don't know if everybody sees it. But we hear all the time when police say, oh, them again. Or we hear neighbors say, oh, that happened all the time. She no one left. Or family members who just get angry and say, you know, I've talked enough. They just don't listen to me anymore. Or us, the very judging community that we are, and say, I don't know why she's still in a relationship. Everybody know he beat up on she. That happened a long time. She no one left. She liked the house. She liked the money. She liked no work.
That happens a lot.
I know, and again, I must say it again.
Yeah.
It's trauma bonding. People who have been traumatized, it affects their brain on a real cellular level, right? The whole fight and flight response becomes all messed up when trauma is involved. And trust me, domestic violence is trauma repeated over and over and over and over and over and over, right? She is bonded with that person. It's not easy for her to just jump up. We're talking about the brain, and we're talking about the what we call the old brain, right? That gets triggered every time. And even though she's scared, even though she doesn't want to be there, she can't help herself. She's back there. Eventually, if we stick with her and we keep on being supportive, she will come out.
Now,
if she's not dead.
But here's another challenging situation when you do get them out. The first time, the second time. And then he comes with the flowers,
with the same flowers.
And he comes crying and begging, and I'm gonna go to therapy, and this isn't me. I can't lose you.
The whole cycle.
Help her then. I know it's a part of the cycle, but I've always, you know, having helped someone through this, I think you see it and you know what he's doing as the outsider, and you see her growing weak and giving in.
And you said the magic words, as the outsider.
As
Yeah.
the outsider, yes.
On the outside, we're looking in and we cannot understand.
But how do you help? And how do you not get angry over it?
Don't
Or
get
frust-
the thing.
not angry,
The
frustrated.
thing is to not get frustrated.
Yeah, you can't
to just
lose it then.
keep on.
right.
Because you just keep on giving her, pointing all the things out, giving her a list of all the things. Ask her, girl, write for me. What are some of the good things about staying in this relationship? Ask her, what are the good things about staying in this
And
relationship?
you make that comparison.
I have a better one, right? So, no, and because I really have attempted to help someone, and I think if I reflect back on that situation, you know, so they do go back,
I know.
and there is, because he comes as the most vulnerable person.
Oh,
to them.
they'll come back and they're so wonderful, yes.
You know, you see men bawl like
Yes.
a baby who's lost their candy. They do go back, and they. Obviously, the abuser then isolates them from you, the friend, the family member, and they no longer feel comfortable in telling you what's happening. But how do you engage in that? Now I know your dirty secrets. I know you ran out of your house because they nearly killed you. You don't feel comfortable with it anymore. Jenny, you feel uncomfortable every time you see me because I know what happened.
Yeah.
And I know you went back to him. And I'm trying to say, hey, Jen, how's it going? Yeah. Good.
Wonderful.
Done.
Yeah.
Just to
And
tell
it's
you
hard to even keep the relationship that you know, if anything happens again, you can come back to me. My house is open, my door is open. How do you help after you are one of the people in the know?
You just said the magic words. Keep on letting her know
That
that
your
you're a
door-
safe harbor for
Yeah,
her.
your door is open.
My door is open. I don't care how many times you go back, I am going to always be here for you when you seriously will not go back. Because he will come and he knows. Remember, he knows how to manipulate her. He has groomed her. It was months and months of grooming. All this time he was spending with the compliments, with all the stuff that she fell for. And then remember now, her brain, her mind is what she grew up. This was normal for her.
This was her norm.
This was normal. So what she's doing is normal
Yes.
for her. And what we have to do is present her with a different picture, and just keep presenting her with a different picture. Don't get upset. Don't get angry and tell her don't come back. No, you must be that safe harbor for her no matter what. And she needs to know that she can come back no matter how many times she has fallen down on her beak. Because it's not that she wants to be beaten. It's not that she wants to get killed. And each time she goes back, the battering is worse.
It gets worse. Yes.
It's worse. So you wonder, why would you do this? But again, keep remembering trauma bonding.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yes.
And we on the outside, we really need. Okay.
So if you see something,
Say something.
something.
I put in here different people, and there's lots of other people.
Nurses,
Neighbors.
doctors, friends, families.
Neighbors.
Yes.
Absolutely,
always
and they're
here.
here. So you need to know these signs, and you need to be able to look and go, okay, something's happening in their home. I want to talk to her mom, because sometimes parents can come help, and especially when they're young. When they're young girls, they're dating, and we know these girls are dating some very characters right now that are really scary. You see things pointed out to the parents.
Call
They
the
may not
police.
know. Call the police, call somebody. With children, not with the adults. You can't do that with the adults. But now, if you see somebody beating up on somebody, call the police, yes, of
I
course.
call them every time.
You call and make the report so that it's recorded there, okay? Know the signs of abuse. These folks need to know that. How far are we? Are we done?
Yeah, that's
that's
it. That's the last of it.
Yeah, this is really, really
Oh,
important.
there's one. Yeah, there is
I-
a couple more slides. Yeah.
I wanted to focus on the psychological signs, not so much the physical signs, because I think we get frustrated. Like, she's gone back again. She got out and she
That
went
was
back.
exactly what, yeah.
You know, it doesn't help to get
To get frustrated.
Yeah.
Women get out and return a lot of
Because-
times because they don't have money.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to accumulate the funds they needed to go get an apartment, right? She's
Fear.
afraid. She's absolutely afraid. And you can't understand the fear until you've been beaten. No, a sheep has been beaten.
This one is the biggest one for a lot of people. The,
It's the
children.
children. Yeah, they will stay because he will threaten her with those children. I will take them away from you. You'll never see them. All these kinds of things.
Yeah.
She doesn't believe that she can make it out there. Physically, emotionally, she doesn't believe herself that she can do it. It takes her leaving about 7 times before she will be, if she's alive at the 7th time, because sometimes
Attempt to leave, yeah.
yeah, sometimes this man threatens her that he will kill her and kill himself.
And
He
himself,
does
the
that.
kids.
Yeah.
And last slide, because we're out of time.
Go ahead, real quick.
Yeah.
So finally, believe young people when they describe relationships that sound abusive. They're underage, so you have a duty to report.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Excellent
It was a tough
conversation,
conversation,
definitely.
and I think
tough.
we've really received some great points. I think if you identify something in somebody else's relationship, and I know we feel like we love being nosy, but we like to pretend like we're not nosy, we should say something as well.
And I just want to again reiterate,
Yeah.
we need, even though they go back, because a lot of times, sometimes when they go back, that's when they get killed.
Yeah.
We really need to keep talking. We need to let them know, I am here for you no matter what. And the police really need to not, make a thing about, oh, she's going back again, she's silly, she's crazy.
Yeah.
No, you have to just be there, loving and supportive and waiting to help them.
Wow.
All right. Thank you so much, Denny. We appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to go ahead now and take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap up, so stay tuned.
These are the people who I want to appeal to. Make those little slips. It happens. You have to have a plan to manage your problems effectively. How are you going to do it? Fall off the horse?